Some of the things that I've learned while playing Timberborn on a custom island map is space. Space is something that you need to get a hold of first. This is the first tip of advice that I have for you playing on a small map or a custom map, and that is using your space wisely. As you can see, I have a huge amount of homes in the center of this island style map, using as little space as possible on top of one another. Also introducing the roofs and the shrubs and the rooftops with the monuments on top, and this one over here, and that allows all the beavers to be happy and all contained in one area. One of the other things I found hard was power. As you can see here, we have a wind farm area set up here, but I also have one set up over here. And then I have another one set up over here, which is then off the island where the bots live. But this power is very limited, and you need something to be running all the time. And I don't have the luxury of having any water wheels because we're on a stranded island. So I went on and did a gravity battery wall, which is absolutely massive. So when the windmills aren't running, the gravity batteries are falling down or raising up because we have plenty of power within the system. One of the other tips that I love that I learned from one of the other YouTubers, I can't exactly remember his name, was being able to stack power. So we have the windmill farm over here on the right hand side with a water with the power shafts going into these barracks or homes, as you like to call them, and what it does is it uses the homes to bring the power up from down here to here. I've used this in several locations, including here, and even for how to get the power from the gravity batteries down to the wind farms and connecting all the power up all the way around this map. So stacking buildings like this works to transfer power very nicely. Tip number 4 is probably a water storage. Now I'm playing in the custom map, which is also part of the crater map. So I have one crater here and another one over here, and I've dammed up both sides of these craters with a canal going in across, and this will allow us to have unlimited water within this map. As you can see, it's flooding into the map, but having some sort of reservoir or way of keeping lots and lots of water stored up really helps when you get into needing water for your beavers during the long droughts in hard mode. Another big tip for tip number 5 would be farms. Now, as you can see from this image here, we've got a normal farm in the far back right hand corner, which has potatoes, carrots, and some of the sunflower seeds growing. And as you can see in the foreground of this photo, you've got wheat on the top left, and you've got the 2 water products, which is the cattail flower and the spadadoc. So the beavers on this island map have all of the food sources that you could ever obtain, but especially the spadadoc came in very useful for this map because it's a surrounded by water island, so it made use of the island and the water perfectly. And it's also good for the beavers to have a wide range of diets and all that kind of stuff. So my tip here is to have water farms and the normal farms where possible, and obviously if you're on an island map, take advantage of the water surrounding it. Leading on to tip number 6, it is to do with the monuments in the game. Now I'm playing with the foxtails in this particular series, so we've got this monument here, which I need to actually, well, I guess this is the farmer monument. We've got the brazier of bonding, I definitely messed that one up, and I have the fountain of joy. And what I've done here, which is the biggest tip that I could probably ever give, is make sure you build your monuments where the beavers live. So I've got a huge sort of apartment complex going on here with all of the roof pieces and the shrubs and stuff, but I put the monuments surrounding the homes because that's where the beavers go back and they live. So if the beavers are walking past this every single day and they're going back there to sleep, they are going to walk past these monuments every single day. The only one I had problems with was the Fountain of Joy, which has to be within water, and I didn't really have anywhere on the island map, so I put it in the water closest to there, and then the beavers, this is the only way that the beavers can come out of this area. So yeah, my tip number 6 is put the monuments near the beavers' homes, and always put the beavers' homes in one area, unless you're doing it for looks. Tip number 7 is to do with water distribution. As you can see, I have this off the island tree farm going on up here, or forest. And you can see I've used these water dumps in holes to make the area up here nice and green. Normally this area would be absolutely decayed and look something like this, to be fair. But with the use of these water dumps, I've managed to make this area that would normally be all dead and not being able to be used to be nice and green for me to put on a tree farm and a forest up here. So I can make use of the dead land just by placing in 1 to 2 of these water dumps. And it's something that I learned very early on in Timberborn, and it's something that I'll use throughout my series. In fact, towards this side of the map where this land is all dead and dry, I'm planning on putting in some of those water dumps over here to create another off the island farm here. Stacking storage is tip number 8 for me, and it's something that I used a lot within a series that I did on the smallest map. Being able to stack storages on top of one another, this works very well when you play with the Iron Teeth, so you can stack on top of each other the log storages, but you can stack the large warehouses and the medium warehouses and any kind of warehouse within the folktales to stack on top of each other to minimize the amount of space you're using. Here we've got obviously 2 on top of one another with a small little path going around the back, but you could expand this massively, and within the modding community you could also get ladders to make this a very, very, very tall structure without using too much space. Tip number 9 for me relates back to the gravity batteries, and I use this in this series a lot, and it's because I haven't got the luxury of using the windmills and the water wheels together, and within a drought and a less windy day there is no wind or water flowing. So I use the gravity batteries in a sort of quite a large area like this, and because they've updated the game to have no district limits, you can build as high as you'd like. And obviously I used that technique from earlier by stacking up the homes up like this to transfer the power. And yes, the gravity batteries are sort of like a late game thing, but it really helps to power everything up when there is no wind or no water for you to use. And last but not least, my final tip, number 10 for Timberborn, is when you're building things within the game, make sure that where you're building things has the resources that you need close by. So I'm building this sort of canal from one reservoir to the next reservoir, and I'm building the canal using the landscaping feature with the dirt blocks. And I've placed in a little dirt storage here, so when the timberbots in this case come over this bridge, so they can go straight to this dirt pile, come back up this here, walk back down here, and walk down and get to the dirt, so then they can always just come back here straight down this line and back to this dirt pile, so they wouldn't have to come all the way from over here back to where the dirt is actually being collected in these machines here and being stored in this underground mine here, so they wouldn't have to travel all the way over both my bridges over the island to get back over to this canal area. Yes, I could make a bridge over here, but it's so much easier just to put the resources that the beavers require near where the structure you're building is being built. And there we have it. That is my top 10 Timberborn tips that I used within the Island series map. I hope you guys did enjoy my tips and you can use them and they really do help out. Please do leave me a comment in the comment section down below if any of them did help or if you've heard them before. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video and I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye.